lots of folk moving about of late. Fair Livia is our own land, charming, fertile and grand.
One evening, soldiers brought before Meve the elf she had saved from a lynching. It seemed he had been the fiend who had poisoned the water barrels from which several soldiers had drunk, then suffered and died.
Yes, I did it. And I regret it not one bit.
Seethed the elf.
Nilfgaardian, Temerian, some brute from Lyria, you Dwan are all alike. I detest you. All of you, your filth for what you wrought with my brethren. I'm proud. I am that even a few of your—
I should drag you to the capital. Hang you high in the market square.
Meve said through gritted teeth.
Yet this you would want. Am I right? For your folk to speak of you? For your folk to remember? Well, you shan't have it. You'll hang here, in the middle of nowhere, with but crows to witness it and then pick at your eyes.
It was a summary execution. No sentence was read, no last wish observed. The elf's corpse—
We welcome you home, Your Majesty.
Home at last, Your Grace.
Meve had ridden out of Lyria in early spring, her retinue modest, as none larger was needed for the brief summit of sovereigns. She returned now to her capital, at the head of an army that dragged behind it bandits and Nilfgaardian prisoners in chains. The whole city came out to greet her. Its traders, craftsfolk, priests. Also, her eldest— Meve and Willem rode side by side past the cheering throngs, their faces frozen in regal smiles. It was not until they reached the castle stables that they found—
Welcome home, Mother. Content I am to see you, to be sure.
And I'm happy to see you. Though I dare say I'd have been much happier to witness you leading an army towards Willem, I trusted you.
Indeed. And I, in turn, did my utmost to choose the best course.
Willem, don't be so damned courtly. There's no one else here. My son. Nilfgaard has invaded our home. We're at war. When rulers don't strive and don't choose, when rulers grab their swords and shields and ride out to defend their—
You didn't let me finish.
All right.
I feared I'd be hasty, Mother, and I didn't want to be. When we got word of the invasion, the lords convened at the castle. They demanded I hear them out. If I'd rushed into the field to confront the foe, I'd have been half blind to the situation, not known all the options I had at—
A ruler never knows all the options. I need to prepare.
And indeed she did, when the peers convened in the throne room. Surrounded by animal hides and Zerrikanian tapestries, the lords stood in tense silence, awaiting the queen. When her figure filled the doorway, they fawningly prostrated themselves.
We've myriad matters to resolve, so I trust you're well rested. Whatever the case, I've no doubt we shall meet the dawn afore wed. Firstly, we must ask assistance. Pen a letter to King Demavend. Scribe, take this down. Dear... What? Uncle? Cousin? Blast. Again,
Your Grace. Mother. The peers and I...
Yes?
We wish to acknowledge Nilfgaard's authority. Pledge field.
I beg your pardon.
The black-clad hordes outnumber our forces manyfold, and they're far better equipped. We stand not the slightest...
You will not lecture me about Nilfgaard's army, my son. All you know of them you garnered from coloured renderings, whereas I faced them at Dravograd.
But your grace, the losses. For this fleeting victory in which you delight, how many of your subjects had to perish? Bend a knee afore the Emperor and...
Nay, never!
I'd hoped to persuade you, but it seems I've failed. Nonetheless, the die's been cast. We've signed the accord with Nilfgaard. Our noble lords stand with me.
The blood left Maeve's face. She had realized her son, who had ever professed to detest politics and shirked his duties as crown prince, had just stabbed her in the back, as had her entire court.
What is this? Treason to my eyes! The gallows is what awaits you!
Willem rules Lyria now. And should you not acquiesce and approve the accord, I fear only you, milady, shall have the pleasure to meet the hangman.
Don't get ahead of yourself, Caldwell. My mother will not be harmed. Not one hair on her head. Understood? Confine the Queen to the tower.
You err deeply, my son.
The Queen was confined to a cell. Gilded armor she had traded for a simple robe. A courtly retinue for a swarm of rats. She was the very picture of misery. At the window of her cell, gripping the bars, Maeve stood powerless. Her anger so great she wept and wailed.
Have I come at a bad time?
Demons take you, Caldwell. You've long been at this scheme, haven't you? You left the strays of Sparla to roam the realm, to forage, so that I would have to look to them. And thus gained your cohorts the time they needed to complete Lyria's sail to...
You've seen through it all, that's clear. After the fact of...
Willem.
The boy's not fit to wear the crown. Hasn't sufficient wit nor valor. I know this. You know this. Just, Willem fancied himself a statesman, which terribly to prove he was one. I made it possible. I've been amply rewarded, I have. Palatine since just yesterday.
You'll have neither my blessing nor congratulations.
I seek neither. I've come for another. Willem does not seek your death. Does not even fathom it, as you well know. Moreover, his resolve will wilt in time, and he'll wish to free you. So, come the morn, when the young king rides out to pledge fealty afore General Ep Dahi, you shall use your bed linens.
I see. You wish to see me plough yourself with a pike, Caldwell. And you needn't send your thugs. I'll not falter nor hesitate. I'll take my own life.
Adieu, your grace. And use your luck.
Maeve felt a rush of despair, yet bit her lip to mute any weeping. No. Morning arrived with the sound of footsteps in the corridor. Maeve rose from her cot and stood in the center of her...
The Duke of...
Titles seem senseless under the circumstances, don't you think?
Has Caldwell sent you?
No and a no. Actually, how shall I put this? That cad, Count Caldwell, used yours truly and the strays as bait, in a scheme aimed at kicking your shapely backside off your throne. Now, I'm hardly vindictive. First to forgive, in fact. Take your threat to send me to the gallows. Forgotten already. Yet being played for a fool. So when the strays freed me, I knew what I'd do to spite the Count afore I disappeared. I'd free you. That's to say, you've got to request it of me, my lady. Courteously.
Never.
Steadfast as ever, even with death hanging over you. Call it my loss, then. You are free.
I'm grateful. Now please let me pass. I must get to the...
Would you look at this woman? Free her from one prison...
They hold Reynard there. And if I've any ally left, anyone who's not betrayed me, it's him.
Hold, my lady.
Have I any other option?
In a sense. See, they locked a few strays in the city pits too. Got a common cause, I'd say.
The Queen took Gascon up on his offer. Then she, Gascon, and the strays snuck through the city to its dungeon. Reynard had not wavered for a moment in his devotion to the Queen. Never the slouch, he had also not lost any time.
I've inquired among the other arrested soldiers. Many are prepared to fight, even die at your side, Your Grace.
Seems they may yet get their chance.
Yet in leaving the jail, the company ran into trouble. When Caldwell's cutthroats had failed to find Meve in her cell waiting for her secret execution, they had informed the Count. He, in turn, dispatched patrols into the streets. The Queen and her cohorts ran into one such unit.
Gascon? Bloody hell, where'd he get to?
Your Grace, we must make haste. Caldwell's roused the whole city by now.
There's a time to reap, a time to sow, and a time to die. Sod it. Sod it all. Aye.
Every rib's a thief.
Should have listened to the old lady. Didn't think I'd leave you just like that, did you?
Honestly, I did. Ha!
Left, right, left, right.
This harvest will be reaping black-clad heads. Don't like this. One bullet's all I need.
Again and again and again.
Your Grace, what guarantee do we have that they won't stab us in the back?
I smell a leak.
Give me a target.
For Lydia!
Cursed traitors. My spirit's willing and how, but these damn boots are killing me.
I thank you, Gascon. You and your men.
'Tis nought, my lady. Strays never say no to a proper brawl.
No brawl this was. Sun rising against Mother. Lyrian striking at Lyrian.
Come now. Seems to me the war's ended. Your realm's lost to Nilfgaard. You've no art.
Then I shall assemble a new one. And with it have Caldwell hanged, and drive Nilfgaard back across the...
You're mad. How will you find the men? Riding from hamlet to hamlet?
No. I shall find them in Aedirn. I've a favour to call in with King Demavend, and I'll sway volunteers to my cause.
Well, you've your first willing warriors.
How so?
We've nothing left in Lyria. Our hideouts are compromised. Caldwell's sure to set a price on our heads, and Nilfgaardians roam the land in numbers. Besides, I'll be right tickled to see proud Queen Maeve fighting elbow to elbow with a bandit she'd wish to hang just a half day afore.
Well, it is said my foe's foe is my... And I'd be a fool to turn down assistance now, no matter...
Very high-minded of you, milady. So, shall we shake on't? Nay? Well then, the high road beckons. Though first we must escape the city with our lives.
Lyria was hers no more. Maeve now had to flee her capital and realm as quickly as she could. Wont to travel the city streets in a gilded carriage, the Queen now saw them from a slightly different vantage point.
Ugh. Is this the only way? Are you quite certain? The Queen
is a common fugitive now, so she'd do better to pinch her nose and whinge not at all.
At long last, Maeve reached the gate. Yet this she found shut tight, locked and guarded.
Gods be damned!
Easy, your grace. Nothing we can't solve with a quiver full of quarrels.
Those are our men.
They were, Reynard, were.
Gascon's raiders were poised to loose their bolts, but were thwarted when the Queen stepped out in front of them.
What's she... Your Majesty? I've orders to arrest your grace.
Place me in irons, then.
Please understand, I haven't a choice.
Fear not. You'll be rewarded by Caldwell in Nilfgaardian Florens.
The captain's head dropped. His cheeks burned crimson.
Go, your grace. Flee now, but only to return.
Remember this, Gascon. I'm no fugitive. I'm a queen, robbed of her rightful crown. And though I may need to venture to the world's end before I return, I shall have it back.
Having fled Lyria, Queen Maeve ventured into Aedirn, her old friend Reynard and new ally Gascon at her side. The war had bitten into this land too. Still, Maeve hoped to sway King Demavend to her cause, and with his aid, to oust the traitors, retake her throne, and drive the Nilfgaardian invader from her realm. Yet to start, she was forced to fight, Scoia'tael no less. Emerging from a wood, Maeve's retinue encountered a unit of elven rebels just moments from hanging a handful of prisoners. Among the latter, the Queen spotted a woman, a proud warrior with a striking, thick black braid.
The lass I believe I know.
Well, unless we rush to her rescue, it'll soon be you knew her.
Well said. Lyrians, attack!
Bring the butcher! Valoa!
You're there!
She can't breathe, Your Grace. We must rush to her aid.
Ever have a storm knock out one of your teeth?
None shall tread on us!
You mad? Don't shake that!
Aedirn!
Free the warrior!
Now we will see who is weak!
The elves! Scatter them! They block our path!
The chase is on!
The Scoia'tael warriors shocked the Queen with their speed, their cunning, and their cruelty. Yet in the end, the Lyrians prevailed. When the last elf hit the ground, the Queen had her men untie those they'd sought to have.
1,000 thanks, Your Grace. Heard many tales of your valor. Pleased to see there weren't just flattery and propaganda.
Black Rayla. Hagar, we saw you there. You command King Demoven's special force.
That's right. Though not many remain. So I see. How did it come? My liege sent me to wipe out a Scoia'tael band, led by a rat called Eldane. Followed the vermin's tracks for several days, straight into his trap.
Hunting elves in the woods. Truly inspired.
Had no choice. Doing nothing would have brought us surer, swifter doom. The Black Clad have invaded Aedirn, thanks to elven aid. They snap our supply lines, lurk like dogs, prey on vulnerable units.
You mean to say Nilfgaard's broken your defensive?
Aye. Though their march will soon halt, believe me. To advance, they'll have to take Rosberg, a stronghold that's yet to fall once. They'll break against its walls like waves upon the rocks. While Aedirn stands, the north is not yet lost. I'll convey your grace's words to the king at the first... I'd rather hope to convey them myself. I have come to Aedirn seeking aid. The king is in Rosberg, overseeing siege preparations. I'm heading that way too to report on our skirmish with the Scoia'tael. I might serve as your guide. These lands I know better. Excellent. Guide.
Yes, Your Grace?
I cannot forgive myself one thing. That I failed. He must have plotted treason for months, years even.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
Easily said.
Nilfgaard would have found a different traitor, or sent an... It was unavoidable what happened. The Blackclads would have attacked in any case, and we'd have stood no chance to defeat the foe in open battle, repelled him, drive him...
So, had you been there when the peers assembled, you also would have voted to bend the knee?
No. My honor would never have allowed it. I'd have thrown myself into the fire, and probably died a fool for it. As matters stand, I still have a chance to thwart the invader, his intention. It seems, in a twisted turn of fate, I should be...
How has it come to this? And you, General Reynard Odo, once proud commander of 4 elite regiments of footmen, now lead a gang of deserters, bandits, and scythe-wielding...
I do so proudly, Your Grace.
You must be joking.
Your Majesty, under your husband I served 10 years, under you another 8. And never in that time did I fight for a more worthy... We seek not to grab land, or stifle a peasant revolt. We fight for all the North, and you alone didn't give up. Didn't even consider bending the knee before...
Yes, all true. Yet look where it's...
Your struggle has but begun, Your Grace, and I will do all in my power to see...
It's time I attended to what...
Your Grace, how fortunate you're here. Behold what...
I'm trying to behold Sir Ake, yet I...
Reynard and Gascon, my lady. Caught in the act of playing face card.
Oh, that.
Good. Games of chance, good. Why, they are evil's very claws. Corrupting, tearing at the soul, seeping venom.
I wouldn't worry about Reynard's heart, Sir Ake. As for Gascon's, too late already. Besides, they're getting along, that's what matters. If cards do... Does the good book contain an answer to every...
Each and every query.
What does it prescribe a mother betrayed by her son?
There's a verse in chapter 2. A child who doth with waywardness defy his mother and father deserveth discipline most severe. Strike him thus heartily, unless thine heart stilleth thy hand.
But one could interpret that any way one would...
To thine own self be judge and ruler, spoke the prophet Lebioda. For thou alone shalt answer for thine deeds before thee.
There's a...
Yes, Your Majesty. One need but gaze deeply into the verses.
Farewell, Ake. So, Gascon, the soldier's life.
About the same as the...
I beg your pardon?
The tents are cold, the food's shite. On the plus side, plenty to drink. A skirmish here, a scuffle there. Nilfgaardians one day, elves the next, and whoever we rout, we rob of what?
Requisition, you mean? Fully in accordance with the law.
Oh, please. Save your excuses for your...
I can't stop wondering. How did your strays break into...
They exploited its chief weak...
What weakness is that? I oversaw its construction myself. Walls 5 feet thick, bars...
All tremendous, I'm sure. But how much do you pay...
What? I don't know. The garrison's command...
Let me tell you then. Not much, Maeve. From atop a throne, it's hard to spot the little things. Example, a guard hard up for coin, or one with ambitions. But seeing that's second nature to even the most ordinary bandit. Take any castle door. To open it, to open all, one needs...
The Duke of Dogs.
Not certain I should tell you.
I insist.
So, thing is, I'm a werewolf of...
Did I hear werewolf?
Of sorts. You see, when the full moon glows in the night sky, I transform into a creature, and then all the other hounds of the night hearken to my command.
Oh, forget I asked. It's time I attended to... How fare you, Rayla? The quartermaster, did he assign you...
He tried.
Oh, and...
I refused it. Best to sleep beneath the stars, little chance of a foe catching you off guard.
Rain accepted, perhaps?
I'm not made of sugar, ma'am. I'm not gonna melt.
One sees very few women in the ranks, let alone in the special forces.
On merit? Proved I'd be of you?
Yes, well, naturally.
I was 15 when I went to enlist. But the sergeant in charge of signing folk up told me to scurry on home. So I proposed a wager. Arm wrestling. If I won, he'd let me join. If I lost, I'd pay him 100 crowns.
And that kind of coin?
No. So I had to win. As we sat down at the table, across from each other, he laughed and rolled up his sleeve. When it was over, all around us were laughing at him. Then I just followed orders. Did so well enough to draw the king's attention.
I must go.
Huh.